My friends, let me ask you a question that may shake you tonight. Have you ever tried to please everyone only to end up pleasing no one, not even yourself? We live in a world where kindness is praised, where we are told to smile at everyone, agree with everyone, and make peace with everyone. But hear me carefully. Kindness without wisdom is not kindness at all. It is weakness. Kindness is a beautiful gift, but when it is offered without discernment, it can turn into a curse. Many people confuse kindness with blind acceptance, with the idea that you must open your arms to anyone who comes along, no matter their intentions. But true kindness, my friends, must be guided by wisdom, by discernment, by the ability to see what is good and what is evil. When kindness is given to those who seek to destroy, it is no longer a virtue. It becomes an open invitation for harm. Think of a shepherd who leaves his gate open at night. He may say, I want to be kind, I want to be welcoming, I do not want to turn anything away. But when the morning comes, he finds the sheep scattered, some wounded, some gone forever. What was his kindness worth? His lack of discernment did not protect his flock, it destroyed it. The same happens in our lives when we are kind without caution. We welcome voices, habits, and influences that should have been kept out, and when they do their damage, we realize too late that not everyone was worthy of our kindness. There are people in this world who thrive on the generosity of others. They see kindness not as a gift, but as an opportunity to exploit. The kind-hearted person says, I will help you. The manipulator replies, good, because I will keep taking until you have nothing left. Without discernment, you will never know the difference between the one who truly needs your compassion and the one who is using you as their stepping stone. And when you give to be of the like, you weaken yourself until you can give no more. That is not love. That is self-destruction. True kindness requires the strength to say no. It requires the courage to step back when someone is draining your spirit. You may feel guilty when you withhold kindness from the wrong people, but remember this: discernment is not cruelty. Discernment is protection. It is choosing wisely where to sow your seed, because a farmer who scatters seed on concrete cannot expect a harvest. Your time, your love, your resources, these are precious seeds. If you cast them everywhere without thought, do not be surprised when little grows. But if you plant with discernment, if you invest your kindness in places where it can flourish, you will reap a harvest that blesses not only others, but yourself as well. So when I say that kindness without discernment is dangerous, I mean it can rob you of your strength, your joy, your purpose. It can tie you to people who pull you down instead of lifting you up. It can keep you so busy serving the wrong causes that you never fulfill the calling placed on your life. There is a higher kindness, a wise kindness that loves boldly but does not allow itself to be trampled. That is the kind of kindness you must choose, because the world does not need more blind kindness. It needs kindness that is clear-eyed, discerning, and strong. When kindness flows without limit, when it is given endlessly without boundaries, it begins to attract not only the grateful but also the greedy. There is a sad reality about human nature. Not everyone values what they receive. Some see kindness as a blessing, but others see it as a weakness to exploit. If you become a person who never says no, who always bends to please, who always offers a hand even when your arms are weary, you will soon discover that there are people who will take everything you give and then demand even more. Endless kindness does not always inspire gratitude. It often invites abuse. Think of the person who is always available, always giving, always sacrificing. At first, others admire them. But slowly, admiration turns into expectation. People no longer say, thank you for your help. Instead, they say, you should help me. What was once kindness becomes an obligation, and once it is expected, it is no longer honored. When you give endlessly without measure, the people around you can become entitled, believing they deserve your time, your resources, your compassion, whether they respect you or not. And the tragedy is that the more you give to the ungrateful, the less they appreciate it. This is why endless kindness can be dangerous. It teaches others not to respect your boundaries. It shows them that no matter how they treat you, they can always come back for more. And once people learn that lesson, they will return again and again, not because they love you, not because they care for you, but because they know you will not resist. They will drain you, they will pull from you, and they will leave you with nothing but exhaustion and regret. Endless kindness without the courage to stop creates relationships that are one-sided, unhealthy, and destructive. Consider also what happens within your own heart when you keep giving without boundaries. At first, you may feel noble. You may tell yourself, this is what it means to be good, but over time, something inside begins to change. Resentment grows. Weariness builds. You begin to feel invisible, taken for granted, perhaps even unloved. And the saddest part is that this transformation is not caused by your kindness itself, but by the abuse of your kindness by others. The gift that was meant to bless ends up becoming the chain that binds you. True love and true kindness are never about giving endlessly to those who exploit it. Love teaches balance. Kindness requires strength. Saying no is sometimes the most powerful act of kindness, not only to yourself, but even to the one who is taking advantage of you. Because by refusing to let them abuse your generosity, you are forcing them to confront their own selfishness. You are teaching them that kindness is a gift, not a guarantee, and that respect must accompany the receiving of it. So let me tell you plainly, endless kindness without wisdom will not win you friends. It will surround you with takers. Endless kindness will not bring you peace. It will leave you empty. But kindness with discernment, kindness with boundaries, kindness that knows when to say enough, that is the kindness that blesses both giver and receiver. There is a burden that many carry, a burden heavier than any load upon the back, and that is the burden of trying to please everyone. Deep down, many of us crave acceptance. We long for the smile of approval, the nod of agreement, the feeling that we are liked and admired by those around us. But no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you give, no matter how many sacrifices you make, you will never please everyone. It is an impossible task, and chasing it will only leave you broken and exhausted. Consider this truth. People are different, and with those differences come conflicting expectations. One person will want you to be quiet, another will want you to speak louder. One will want you to stand firm, another will want you to be flexible. One will want you to give generously, another will accuse you of giving too much. If you bend yourself to meet every expectation, you will soon find that you have lost yourself completely. You will become a mirror reflecting the demands of others, but you will no longer recognize the person staring back at you. The danger in trying to please everyone is that it sets you on a treadmill with no finish line. You run and run, giving more, sacrificing more, adjusting more, but the approval you seek always slips further away. Someone will always criticize, someone will always misunderstand, someone will always demand more than you can give. And when you live for their applause, their disapproval will crush you. When you live for their acceptance, their rejection will destroy you. Think about this. Even the greatest leaders, the most compassionate souls, the wisest teachers, none of them pleased everyone. Some celebrated them, others hated them, some followed them, others opposed them. If they could not please everyone, why do you think you can? The reality is that no matter how kind, how generous, how patient you are, there will always be someone who twists your actions, questions your motives, or mocks your efforts. If you spend your life trying to silence every critic, you will never live at all. Another danger of trying to please everyone is that it dilutes your convictions. If you always seek to be agreeable, you will compromise what is right just to keep peace. You will say yes when you should say no. You will go along with what is wrong because you are too afraid of losing approval. Slowly you lose your courage, and when you lose your courage, you lose your integrity. A person who stands for nothing will eventually fall for everything, and that is the cost of trying to please the crowd. The truth is, you are not called to be everything for everyone. You are not called to meet every demand, to satisfy every voice, to live under the weight of endless expectations. Your worth is not measured by applause, nor is your value determined by criticism. The freedom comes when you realize that pleasing everyone is not only impossible, it is unnecessary. You were created with a purpose, and that purpose cannot be fulfilled if you are constantly twisting yourself to fit the molds of others. So let go of the impossible burden. Stop chasing the approval of everyone around you. Some will love you, some will not, some will support you, others will resist you. That is life. But if you live with conviction, if you stand in truth, if you walk in integrity, you will find a peace far greater than the fleeting applause of the crowd. Kindness is often mistaken for softness, for weakness, for an easy smile and a gentle word that never stirs conflict. But real kindness is far deeper than politeness. True kindness requires courage because it demands that you do what is right, not just what is easy. Anyone can nod their head, keep the peace, and avoid hard truths. That takes no strength at all. But to stand firm, to correct, to refuse to compromise, to show love when it costs you something, that is where courage steps in, and that is where kindness reveals its true power. Think about it. When a parent disciplines a child, is it unkind? The child may think so in the moment, but in reality, it is the deepest form of kindness. The parent is not motivated by anger, but by love, by the desire to shape the child's future for good. It takes courage to stand against the tears, the protests, and the misunderstanding, but that courage is an act of kindness. In the same way, if you refuse to correct someone because you fear their reaction, that is not kindness, it is cowardice. True kindness dares to confront even at the risk of rejection. There are moments when kindness is not about saying yes, but about saying no to the harmful request, saying no to the manipulative demand, saying no when someone tries to push you down a path that will destroy you. It takes courage to draw that line because people may not like it. They may label you harsh, selfish, or unloving. But standing firm is sometimes the greatest kindness you can offer, both to yourself and to them. By refusing to enable their destruction, you point them toward change. That is kindness clothed in courage. Courageous kindness also means loving those who cannot repay you, even when the world tells you to walk away. It means extending grace to the broken, the outcast, the forgotten. The easy path is to ignore them, to pass them by, to avoid the discomfort of their need. But true kindness dares to stop, to notice, to act. Courage compels you to care when it costs you time, energy, and even reputation. Many will turn their heads away, but the one who walks in courageous kindness will kneel beside the hurting and offer hope. There will be times when kindness demands that you speak an unpopular truth. The crowd may call you judgmental, unkind, or intolerant, but real kindness is not silence in the face of destruction. Real kindness warns even when the warning stings. Imagine a doctor who sees disease in a patient but refuses to say anything for fear of upsetting them. That is not kindness, it is cruelty. In the same way, it takes courage to speak truth in love, but without that courage, kindness loses its backbone and becomes nothing more than empty sentiment. So remember this, kindness without courage is fragile, fleeting, and shallow. But kindness with courage is powerful, life-changing, and eternal. To love truly, you must be willing to risk misunderstanding. To care genuinely, you must be willing to stand against opposition. True kindness is not for the faint of heart. It belongs to those who dare to do what is right, even when it costs them everything. Every life has a destiny, a path designed with purpose, a calling that can only be fulfilled if it is guarded with wisdom. But that destiny is fragile, and one of the greatest threats against it is the absence of boundaries. Without boundaries, you invite chaos into your life. Without boundaries, you allow anyone and anything to step into your heart, your mind, your future. And when you open your life to all without discernment, you risk losing the very purpose you were created to fulfill. Boundaries are not walls of selfishness. They are gates of protection. They are the lines you draw to guard the treasure within you so that your destiny is not stolen, delayed, or destroyed. Think of a city without walls in ancient times. Without protection, enemies could march in freely, thieves could come and go, and the people inside had no peace. That city might still exist, but it could not thrive. The same is true of your life. If you live without boundaries, you may survive, but you will never flourish. Every person with an agenda will pull you in their direction. Every distraction will demand your time. Every negative influence will creep in until your focus is scattered and your energy drained. Before long, the vision you once held in your heart begins to fade, buried beneath the weight of everyone else's demands. Your destiny is too important to be left unguarded. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should have the right to speak into your life. When you let the wrong voices dominate, they can drown out the whispers of purpose. Some people will encourage you, but others will discourage you, belittle you, or twist your path to suit their own. If you have no boundaries, you allow them to shape your future instead of walking the road you were meant to travel. Boundaries are not cruelty, they are clarity. They say, this is who I am, this is where I am going, and I will not let anything or anyone lead me away from it. Boundaries also protect your energy. You are not an endless well. Your time, your strength, your kindness, these are limited resources. If you pour them out on people who do not value them, you will have nothing left for the mission that matters. Boundaries help you prioritize to give yourself to what builds you up and what advances your destiny. Without them, you spend your life reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of thriving, running in circles instead of moving forward. It takes courage to set boundaries because not everyone will like them. Some will accuse you of being unkind. Some will call you selfish. But remember this, people who truly value you will respect your boundaries. It is only those who benefit from using you that will resist them. By setting boundaries, you do not lose friends. You discover who your real friends are. And by protecting your destiny, you position yourself to bless others more powerfully in the long run. So guard your life. Draw the lines that keep your purpose safe. Do not apologize for protecting your time, your energy, your heart. You were not created to be a doormat for others. You were created to fulfill a destiny. Boundaries are the shield that keeps that destiny alive. And when you live with them, you will not only preserve your purpose, but you will walk in it with strength, clarity, and freedom. Not every place deserves your seed, and not every person deserves your blessing. Life is filled with opportunities to give, your time, your resources, your love, your encouragement. But if you scatter these sacred gifts without thought, you will soon discover that much of what you poured out has been wasted. That is why it is so important to choose wisely whom you bless. The value of your blessing does not decrease when it is given, but it can be trampled underfoot when it is given to those who neither honor it nor use it wisely. To give without discernment is not generosity, it is carelessness. Consider the farmer who prepares his seed for planting. Would he throw it into thorn bushes? Would he scatter it on stony ground? Of course not. He knows that the soil matters. Good seed placed in bad soil will not bring a harvest. In the same way, your words, your help, your love are good seed. But if you continually invest them into people who have no intention of growing, you will not see fruit. Some will take your blessing and abuse it. Some will take your kindness and twist it. Some will accept your generosity, but never change their ways. The result is not transformation, but waste. This does not mean you should withhold kindness from those in need, but it does mean you must discern where your efforts are truly fruitful. There are people who are hungry for wisdom, desperate for help, eager to change, and when you bless them, your blessing multiplies. But there are others who simply want to drain, to take without giving, to lean on you while refusing to stand for themselves. To continue pouring into them endlessly is not love, it is enabling their weakness. Choosing wisely means distinguishing between the two. There will also be times when blessing someone requires saying no. To bless wisely does not always mean to give them what they want. Sometimes the greatest blessing you can offer is to withhold, to allow them to face the consequences of their choices, to force them to grow. True blessing is not about comfort, it is about transformation. And transformation often requires pain, discipline, and challenge. If you always rescue, always give, always shield, you may think you are blessing, but you are actually hindering. Choosing wisely whom you bless also protects your own spirit. You cannot give endlessly to the ungrateful without becoming bitter. You cannot invest constantly in the destructive without being pulled down yourself. Your calling is too great to be squandered on those who despise it. Bless where there is hunger. Bless where there is openness. Bless where your gift can grow and multiply into something greater. That is not selfishness, it is stewardship. So be careful, your blessing is powerful, your words can heal, your presence can lift, your love can transform, but only when it is placed in the right hands, the right soil, the right hearts. To bless wisely is to guard the sacredness of what you carry and to trust that the right people at the right time will receive it and bear fruit. When you do that, your blessing will not be wasted. It will live on, multiplying far beyond what you can imagine. My friends, we have walked through a hard but necessary truth. Kindness is a gift, but it is not meant to be blind, endless, or without boundaries. We have seen that kindness without discernment is dangerous, that people will abuse endless kindness, that pleasing everyone is impossible, that true kindness requires courage, that boundaries protect your destiny, and that you must choose wisely whom you bless. Each of these truths reminds us that kindness is not weakness, it is strength guided by wisdom. If you live your life trying to be kind to all without thought, you will lose yourself. You will be drained, broken, and far from the path you were meant to walk. But if you let your kindness be guided by courage, by discernment, by truth, then your kindness becomes a force that changes lives, protects your future, and honors the purpose planted within you. So do not be afraid to draw the line. Do not be afraid to say no. Do not be afraid to walk away from those who abuse your heart, for your life is too precious, your calling too important, and your time too short to waste on what destroys you. Give your kindness where it can grow. Pour your love where it can bring life. Share your strength with those who will honor it. And when you live this way, your kindness will not just be polite, it will be powerful. It will not just please, it will transform. And it will not just bless for a moment, it will echo into eternity.